The Code to Joy, the four-step solution to unlocking your natural state of happiness, is helping people from all walks of life to attain that happiness. Joining me this morning is psychologist and best-selling author Dr. George Pratt to talk about this book, Code to Joy. Good morning to you.
David, good to see you.
You come with great credentials. You've had three other books before this one? Or?
Yes.
And Larry King wrote the foreword of this, and you were telling me this is the first time Larry King's ever done something.
I believe
like
so, yes. I had ended up on his show 4 times, and I think he felt sorry for me and wrote the introduction. No, he was, yeah, he's actually a very funny guy, but he believed in what we were doing. He was surprised. I'd worked with some of the staff on the show. They had a good response. He didn't believe what they were saying. He had an experience, and then I ended up being on the show several times.
Well, Code to Joy, I mean, the 4 steps sounds simple enough. It takes a couple of 100 pages to explain it, but everybody experiences that joy. It's how to bottle it that's tough to do, right?
Right. We're all built to be joyful, happy, experience love, accomplishment, success. But what can happen is we have negative experiences, usually earlier in childhood, that can affect us. In the book, we call it, we have these huge events we call asteroid hits, and then we have something called microtraumas, like little things that we don't even realize are affecting us, but they have a tremendous effect on how much light we have in ourselves. And we have a way of identifying in the book a little checklist, a personal inventory on these small events that people go, how could that affect me so significantly? Also, there's some other techniques that we have for identifying these. I'll give you an example. Okay. Even yesterday, somebody in the office came in and said, you know, nothing is really wrong in my life, but I feel like I'm not living life fully. And just in talking to her for the first visit, taking a problem-oriented history, she said, well, yeah, you know, back when I was 3 or 4, my parents were fighting all the time, yelling and screaming, and I could see it in her eyes that was something that still bothered her. She said, now, you know, things are good, I'm happy, except I'm flat. And so we actually did some of the procedures from the book and cleared that trauma of watching her parents yell and scream when she was a child, and she felt a release of that stuck programming. What happens, we have 3 essential parts to our emotional functioning. We have our conscious mind, which in the book we call the flea, the subconscious mind, which is the elephant, and then something that most people are not familiar with, it's our body's electrical system. We call the biofield. We'll get back to that in a second. So just think of if a flea is riding the elephant, if the elephant wants to go to the beach and the flea wants to go inland, you're going to the beach. So the conscious mind has very limited perspective. It does a lot of good things for us, but let's say you want to lose 10 pounds. You say, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds, I'll eat less and exercise more. It doesn't usually work that way.
Right.
So what happens is early in childhood, and usually up to about age 6, we have no conscious filters. And so these early experiences really get embedded in there, and from about 6 to 12, we have some vulnerability, but not as much. Then we have this biofield.
Right.
We are electrical, we can measure with EKGs, EEGs, et cetera. There's things that we can do to understand that. So we have, as a result of that, we can use that electrical activity that actually has always been studied in space flight with the Russian cosmonauts. And it's a hot issue, even being not only studied, but with training happening at Harvard, Stanford, and Duke in using this body's electrical system, and we'll call that the acupuncture, acupressure system, and et cetera. So we're using all of those things together in kind of a simplified format that people can use themselves.
So we've got to go, but Code to Joy is for everybody, I guess. Anybody that has that longing in life to keep a level of certain joy in their lives, right?
Right, and it's possible. What we do is have people release these blocks, and as you saw in the back, we have Academy Award and Grammy winners and Olympic medalists, and then just regular people like myself when you want to live life fully and experience all that there is. If you're not living life fully, do something about it. There's tools that will work, and you can learn them.
All right, Dr. Pratt, thank you so much.
Go to the website.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Where can you find it?
drgeorgepratt.com, and also there's a free download of a half-an-hour stress reduction experience, too.
Okay, and what's the website again?
drgeorgepratt.com, drgeorgepratt.com.
Doctor, thank you.
Hey, thanks, David.
Appreciate your time.
Good to see you.
Okay, you too. Still to come on Good Morning San Diego. Good news on Wall Street today. That might make you a little bit joyful. We're breaking down the numbers on the stocks when we come back. Stay with us.